Oops, I'll start here. Sefer HaRamban writes that a delicate soul, a celestial fragrance of the Almighty, cannot tolerate anger. When a man succumbs to uncontrollable rage, his soul is in a sense departs, leaving behind a deathly vacuum. One who surrenders his anger thus commits a form of spiritual suicide. He writes further, wow, if one lost a beautiful flower, it would be madness for him to react by breaking a precious object worth 1,000 times more than the small flower. Similarly, a person who loses his temper shatters a piece of his mind, a commodity far more precious than the relative trivial loss which triggered his wrath. It's so true if you think about it, right? Like whatever the issue was that got you heated is destroying your emotional well-being, your composure. It's crazy. If you put it on a scale, it's just not worth it. Rav Yisrael, but that's the disease of anger. That's what it does to a person. Rav Yisrael Salanter, the founder of the Musar movement, was especially aware of anger as a spiritual poison. Once, while he was living in Berlin, a visitor found Rav Yisrael uncharacteristically upset. The visitor inquired to the source of his troubles. Rav Yisrael answered that the two Jews from Kovno had just visited and had reported on him on potential troublesome changes that are about to be made in the local base medrash where Rav Yisrael used to study. Are the changes that bad? Asked the visitors. No, answered Rabbi Yisrael, but nevertheless, I felt some anger when I was told of them. Did you speak of the guests in a way that could have contained an element of insult? God forbid, answered Rabbi Yisrael. No one but myself knew of it. Certainly you know, however, that when a person gets angry as if he's worshiping idol and is subject to divine retribution. Wow. That's a heavy standard to hold on oneself. Bittersweet gifts. A philosopher once commented, most men endure lives of quiet frustration. Unfortunately, many people who display outward composure are consumed in their inner turmoil. Their hearts overflow with bitter disappointment. With each new experience of life's setbacks, they become more deeply angered. The Talmud suggests an antidote to these feelings. No man is free of sin. Although God has no mercy on those who are thoroughly evil, he acts with compassion towards the bulk of mankind. Instead of overwhelming transgressions with devastating blows, God allows them to experience the consequences of sin gradually and over time. The Talmud cited numerous examples of minor discomforts which may serve the divine retribution. They include commissioning a tailor to sew a suit and disliking it, asking for a hot drink and being served a cold one, and reaching into one's pocket as taking 3 coins but coming out with 2. The Talmud concludes, if a person goes through 40 days without experiencing any pain or slight discomfort, he should be concerned, lest he receives all the reward and pleasure in this world, and suffering awaits him in the future. These are apparently trivial discomforts, are meaningful, and they are indeed God's bittersweet gifts. The Midrash suggests that one develops a positive attitude towards the losses which occur in the course of a normal life. Always be willing to forgive the mishaps which occur in your home. When someone breaks a bottle of expensive wine, if you react with compassion, God himself will repay you for your loss. Okay, so here's what I was thinking as reading definitely the last 2 pages there, is that it seems to be extremely important for perspective and having a suitable, like at least a small time to sort of reflect on the outside, sort of weigh it on the scale, so to speak, but also reflect and recognize, what had happened through the process. So what I would like to suggest for this week's homework is, we're all going to experience emotion, anger being one of them, and maybe we might not even get angry during the week. But let's extend it from beyond anger to discomfort as well. And when you feel some sort of an emotion that's unsettling, to dedicate 1 minute, 60 seconds to stop and reflect on the incident post incident, I think is also a really important tool in terms of learning from a mistake. Like, for example, if you mess up during the week and you get angry, rather than just saying like, oh, shoot, okay, I messed up, and then just sharing it here, to actually stop and take a minute, take 60 seconds and sit down and actually talk it out, like what had happened, how you could have acted better, and because of how, what was the risk and reward, and how to do better next time, to train ourselves to be able to do that. I don't know. How does that sound as homework?
You don't mean like immediately after, right? Because you would still be annoyed, I guess.
Yeah, I would say, but not too far after either. You want it to be fresh in your mind. But I'm saying in a scenario, I'd like to think that, like, for smaller things, we catch it right afterwards and we go, oh, shoot. Right? No, if you're still heated, then it won't be productive. But if like you responded and then like 20 minutes later, you're like, oh, I really shouldn't have done that. You're kind of feeling bad about it. Give yourself that minute to really just talk it out to yourself and be like, what had happened? What did I do? How could I have done better? Reflect, like proactively reflect.
All right, sounds good.
I like it. What do you guys think? We game? I guess. Building every week. So next week, Hannah, and the week after Maya. And then maybe we'll give David another chance. This is over too. Okay, guys. Have an amazing